We can do this.
Have you noticed my wings I've brought with me?
These wings.
Welcome, everyone. Let's create a 2020 vision together, shall we? This is what this little Facebook Live here is about. And we want to talk to you about all that automatic programming that we often have going on that is actually stopping us from creating from that sea of infinite possibilities.
It's not only automatic, it's also unconscious. We're not even aware of it in most of the times. And it's actually a part of us that also is in our body and how our brain is wired. So it's very hard to break, and it's very hard to come out of these patterns. I think everyone recognizes that we have these triggers that just fires off and
the body reacts.
Yeah, everything reacts. And I think everybody can recognize situations where you are aware of what you're doing, but you cannot break it. So then you're really angry, and some part of you can see that, and you actually know that that's not really you anymore, but still you're in that. It's like a train. You cannot
automatic
stop it.
pathway, right?
Yeah. So that's what I want to talk about, especially now after we have 7 years of experience of
under
marriage.
Our belt.
Yeah. We had to break a lot of patterns
That's
that
right.
we brought into our marriage, where I think if you look back 7 years,
we were different people then, right?
Absolutely.
So much of what we pick up on that automatic programming actually is a lot of cultural conditioning, right? So we're taught from an early age on what is right, what is wrong, this is how you should do it, this is how you shouldn't do it. And we have all these ideas, stories, and beliefs even of what is right. And then as we grow older, we get all these experiences that show us in more or less painful or joyful ways that sometimes, we're right, and sometimes we just did something because we thought someone else would think that's right, like our parents, or we had a religious belief that was saying this is what you need to be doing. And then at some point I feel we have that awakening, don't you?
Absolutely.
Where we decide, wait a minute, there's something going on here that's not right. And the thing that's not right is actually the programming. So the good news I feel is for everyone listening or watching is it's not your fault. So much of what you define as you is actually just programming, and programming of parents, of culture, of religion, of beliefs. And when we are able to really look at those in a more conscious way and see which of these beliefs actually still serve me, what's taking me towards that greatest and grandest version of myself, the one where I'm heart-centered and the most loving me, and what is actually stopping me from that.
And I think talking about relationships, it's a great learning school because it's very confrontational. You both really want the best. I mean, you really want to make your marriage work, right?
Well, that's why one does it, right? Right. You don't set yourself up, let's get married and make ourselves fail.
And then when you really are, confronted with certain patterns in yourself or the other that are hard to break, it can be really hard. I mean, it can be really also painful. But thank God we had tools, we had commitment, and we
still do.
And we didn't want to give up. So for us, this has been a really, really great way to work through our own patterns, and then also studying all the things about the quantum field and learning from, let's say, the ascended masters and our guides and all of those who are lovingly advising us.
Well, and also, 3D people like Barbara Fredrickson and Jonathan Haidt, amazing teachers of psychology and social psychology that are really looking at what love means. And I feel we've also learned so much about that. So much of it is about communication. It's so much of being aware of, what's me and what's the other, and needs and authentic relating, and all that juicy stuff, right?
Yeah. And, pleasing and not being authentic, trying not to hurt the other.
Those are very popular patterns, right? Right? And we also feel really blessed, and thank you for listening to this and being with us here and sharing this blessing. And if you're here, you are also just as blessed because you're aware of these things that are happening, and you're interested in how your brain functions, and you're actually wanting to understand yourself, and that makes you part of an elite group. I mean, that is the sad truth still.
Absolutely.
There's still, you are unique in that way that you're really looking at these things, and you might be wondering, well, my life's good, or the things that I really like in life, and then the things that could do with some improvement. And then you might be wondering, so why do I keep creating this that I don't want? And if you're one like that, then you're in great company here.
Absolutely. Because most of us are creating from the past. So we keep repeating, we call this a déjà vu of the past. So basically, you're recognizing these patterns that you're stuck into, and it comes back and over and over. It's not new. It's not like you're making up new ways. It's just like you're being triggered by the same things. And that's where we need to learn how to break through, because that's one of the things I think everybody that we know sooner or later has to come to the point where he said, okay, I want to change. I want to become better. I can do
the
better.
work. So the bad news is you are living right now, most of us are living the program. A lot of automatic programming that is actually coming from usually painful experience is in the past, where we're reliving those memories of the past, and we're creating actually from that past. That means we're creating into what we feel is a predictable future. We just keep going on and on the same patterns until we have that moment of awakening, and that might be right now. So we are inviting you to step out of that program and instead step into what we call your potential, your power, that real essence and amazing being that you are. Do you want to tell us more about this amazing being that we are?
Yeah, absolutely. We just finished a training in Holland, the quantum connection hypnosis, where people go into trance. We'll talk a little bit more what the trance means, because we are already hypnotized from the moment that we come into this planet. So just imagine this. You're born and you're looking at yourself, this baby. Can you predict that this baby isn't an Einstein, isn't a Michelangelo, isn't a Picasso, isn't...
Right?
Yeah, we can't. And then things start happening to us. And, over the years, we lose our potential. We get further and further away from potential. And actually, there's even research showing that the more time we spend in school, the less creative we are. And creativity is where your potential is, when you connect to that field that we now consider called the quantum field of infinite possibilities.
Yeah, it is sad to see how we're nowadays teaching our children in this frontal way of just stuffing information down them without teaching them any real skills. So that is also the reason why we've really united also in our forces to say, we've got to change this. We've got to change the way that we learn, because as you say, when we're relaxed, when our brain waves are relaxed, then we can actually get into that creative state. We can get into flow, right? Where creation becomes effortless rather than the struggle of trying so hard to get something done.
Absolutely. And one of the great things we saw in this 5-day training, where people were practically just going into deep relaxation and just playing with the brain, imagining. So what we're teaching is to start imagining. And if you don't know it, make it up. And what happens, you start
Can you say that again? If you don't know it,
make it up.
That's imagination.
And that's so powerful. So after a while, I think the second, third day, people already start to change. What was a big surprise for me was the amount of healing happening while this workshop was totally not dedicated to healing. And people now are starting to really look into the world with new eyes and no longer keeping themselves small, but really believing, what is possible? We don't know. Let's find out. Let's explore. So when we start to explore, then we're opening up, our potential back again.
And you said something really beautiful. It's when we tap into that beautiful space of not knowing and saying, what is possible, right? And to tie that into some really hard facts and science, all that actually is about are the different brainwave states. So we have found in all the work we've been doing so many years together and on our separate paths, that the brainwave states really are the key. They are the points where you can find these portals, these little doors of opening and different levels of awareness. So can I share my new words?
I love it.
My buzzwords.
I love it.
So you know how we have all these different brainwave states which measure how many hertz per second are flowing through our brains in what kind of amplitude to know what's going on inside of the brain. So we have when we're busy. Busy. We are in beta brainwave states, right? Usually we're in beta when we're talking, when we're walking, when we're working, when we're doing our normal kind of stuff.
Focus outside, externally focused, and we're trying to make sense of everything.
Then The next stage is alpha. Now, alpha for me is all about awareness, right? Beta, busyness, alpha, awareness. Because in alpha, we catch kind of a little glimpse, a little, oh, there's something else. It's not just this busy the whole time. And in that awareness, in that state, we can actually notice things. We can notice patterns. We can notice what's actually going on around us, inside of us. And then we have the next brainwave state, which is kind of our favorite. Is that true?
Yes, yeah. Theta is where it all happens.
Theta. And how are we going to remember what theta is about? Theta is actually about tranquility and Taurus energy. This came through to me this morning in my meditation. Yeah, because what happens when we get our brain waves into theta, that healing brainwave zone, we actually experience that Taurus energy that Tesla's talking about, that so many healing techniques are talking about. When we become aware of our vessels, our bodies as vessels of Taurus energy, right? When our breath starts syncing with our heartbeat, when we get those gaps in our thoughts, that's when we're in theta. And that is the state we want to bathe in most of the time to really get things done. That's a funny thing. So it's not busy that gets stuff done. Actually, it's theta that gets it done.
And the T I want to add to that is then you're connected to the totality of everything. So it's basically you're in the whole field of possibilities. In alpha, you're basically sinking more into your subconscious mind. You start remembering certain things. But in theta, it's like you are now in the universe, in the totality of everything. Yeah, theta is also the place where most things happen. The one is
theta is where it happens.
Theta is where it happens.
And then we have an even deeper state of relaxation, which is delta. Now, delta I call divine sleep. That's usually when we're out, unless we have trained meditation for many years and we've really been able to train our brain to relax so deep and still stay conscious. And it is possible. It is definitely possible. And people that show us that this is possible are, for instance, babies. So children from 0 to 2 spend most of their time in delta. Now, you and I can't even stay awake in delta unless we've really set our minds to it, right? So that is just interesting to know, because it also explains why we pick up so much stuff in the course of our lives that we can then release so effortlessly in states of trance, hypnosis, meditation, theta. And I feel that is actually the key to the core to our success.
Right, and delta is also where you dream, and basically you're detoxing, you are letting go of a lot of stuff. So I think that's where other things happen. So you're cleaning up your brain as well, preparing for the next day. So a lot of the busyness that you were in beta, you're letting go again in delta. In delta.
Yeah. And then we have gamma. Right, gamma is a special kind of brainwave because it hasn't been explored that much. But we do know that when Tibetan monks, for instance, practice a compassionate meditation, they have spikes of gamma in their brainwaves. So for me, gamma is the gold frequency. That is when we tune into compassion. That's when we feel our heart open, and it can happen randomly in a quantum voyage. It can happen randomly in a meditation, in a connection that you have where your brain is just in that perfect state to receive that flash of gold lightning. That's how I always imagine it.
And how I also imagine is that in Theta you're in this tranquility. And tranquility is the kind of a peaceful state. It's like connect to everything. And the gamma is like the heart pumping love through everything. Like and those are the spikes, the highest connections, where the electromagnetic pulse just hits everything. Because basically we come from that love frequency. So when we tune into that, then we're just beaming lights, beaming rainbow lights all over
so
the
sounds
universe.
Spacey. And if you practice, which you can do right away, every morning you could be doing this, connecting, you will experience that yourself. And I feel when we experience it in our own bodies, that's when we know it's true, right? So we've been talking about brainwave states, and I think another big difference we need to explain is the conscious and the unconscious mind, the subconscious. So both of these parts of our brains are necessary. We need them both, but they have very different jobs and very, very different preferences and talents. So why don't we start with the conscious mind? It's the one we rely on most of the time.
Yeah, I mean, that's the beta mind. That's when we're aware about what's going on outside. That's where we're trying to make meaning out of life. That's why we're trying to deal with everything that's going on. The downside with the conscious mind is that we are not at our highest, I would say, intellectual level, because we only have a very limited capacity that we're using, and we often get mixed into things. We're triggered into the things that are coming actually from a deeper level, from the subconscious mind. But the conscious mind is reacting to what's happening outside of it.
Well, and the conscious mind can only process 126 pieces of information per second, 126. So that means that when Roy is talking, I can follow that consciously. But if someone else is talking at the same time, it's already over the capacity of my conscious mind.
And if you're trying, but you're not noticing a lot of things around you that actually you're seeing, but you're not aware of it, because you're limiting yourself to that what you're really focusing on, to, let's say, following my voice or paying attention. But there's a lot of other things around you that are still coming into your brain, but you're not aware of.
So our ability to consciously learn is kind of small. The good news is that we have our beautiful unconscious mind that has an incredible processing power. And the unconscious mind learns so quickly. It's like a child's mind. It is the child's mind, basically, because when we're children, we don't filter. Our unconscious mind is wide open. And that conscious mind, that ratio that we now use so often, is not in place, which explains why so much of the stuff that we pick up comes from our childhood years, right? So the unconscious mind thinks in pictures, in images, and you can access the unconscious mind, as Roy was just saying, by your feelings. When you get triggered, when you feel those emotions, that energy in motion in your body, you're actually being reminded of something in the past. Your body is saying, oh, I remember this, right? And if it links you to a moment that wasn't very pleasurable, then you can actually create pain in your body. Your brain will say, oops, careful, not safe. So what we do in our trainings and workshops, and with all the brain trainings that we create, is we help the unconscious mind relax, the brain relax, and to go in those healing states so that you can start basically washing your own brain, but with your intention, right? Because you're the one deciding what you want to see happening. We're really, really careful about that, and that means a lot to us, that we are always about giving you the keys so that you can do this. The good news about the upcoming workshop, the Quantum Voyage in Italy, is that there's not much that you need to do at all, because we will be doing the work for you in the way that we will be reading and channeling soft, beautiful voices and affirmations and healing words for you, while you can really simply just relax and drink it all in and allow us to help you get your unconscious mind and your conscious mind really aligned with your heart's desires. Because when they are, stuff just happens.
And what's really important is that you are the one deciding your paths. You are the one deciding which resources you need. You're the one deciding what kind of empowering beliefs you need and your intention. So all of that we're bringing together into these guided meditations so that, things start working for you. You're focusing your unconscious into the same direction you want to go. And what we really want to create is what's called congruency, that you're no longer sabotaging your best intentions. And then there's another thing that can happen in teeth is when you start connecting to that higher wisdom that you are, into that higher knowledge that you have. And now you're going to be streamlining everything and stop resisting and start flowing. I think that's the beauty of surrendering and allow us to go deep into the unconscious to help you to change the things you want to change.
And a way that has helped me to understand the process is that we need to consciously first say, what is it that I want, right? We need to be the ones making that decision. And then we can let the unconscious do the work for us. And that's a way more effortless way of creating, right?
Yeah, because in teeth, everything is possible. That's where it is. And the only thing that is required is for you to learn how to relax. Basically, we have the best interest for you. So that in itself, we're going to teach you how to relax. But the nicest thing I think that we're going to give them home is that they have the tools to be able to start doing these things at will.
That is true. That is true. Yeah. Did you also just see that one of our dogs is outside?
I see two for that.
So could you explain some of the day tools and practices that we could start diving into, and I will go rescue our dog. I'm so sorry. This is a live thing, right? This is reality TV. Exactly. I'll be back.
Yeah, the great thing of this, actually, we're returning back to the time that we were children. And when we're children, we're completely open. We don't have these filters before our mind. So all the stuff that happens all around us, all the impressions we get from our parents. So when we look at our parents, we get a model for relationships, or we get a model for, let's say, success. We get a model for how they do things. And these things are mirrored into our brain like this is the best reality for us. So we never decided ourselves what we wanted to be. Maybe we've decided to land in that family, but we did not decide the direction we're going. So you see a lot of people following the examples of their parents. We're following the way they communicate. We are following even the way that they're dealing with disease. And what we need is to be able to break these patterns. We call these pattern breaks. So when we develop these pattern breaks and we start breaking that autopilot that has been built up in ourselves since we were young. So one of the tools that we're going to teach you is how to break these patterns, how to connect yourself to that higher wisdom that you have, how to see the illusion of the programming, actually the hypnosis that we are all in, how everything is working to keep us enslaved and prisoned into a reality that's not the reality we've chosen to live for. So the tools we're going to give you is the connection and to break the pattern. So now you become more self-aware. And I can say self-awareness is the number one skill we need to break out of prison. That's number one. If I'm not self-aware, I cannot become conscious.
Realize that I am.
Yeah,
Obviously.
that's...
Well, the good news is our dogs are back. I caught them just in time. Thank you for bearing with me, or us.
We have dogs who break away from their prison.
You have a strong sense of freedom. That was just the perfect moment, wasn't it? Talking about breaking free of the prison. So you talked about how to pattern interrupt, right?
Pattern interrupt, and also to become more and more aware and to start seeing the things that are not you. That are just
yourself, right?
Yeah, things that you know, when you were young, you just copy and paste them from your parents and your environment and the people you cared about and the people you were looking up and thought they were the authority.
That was the max of what
that
you
was
can
the role
have.
models, yeah.
And isn't it true that sometimes we then reach the kind of what we thought we want to have, and then it doesn't fulfill us because
Absolutely.
it wasn't really coming from our heart's desire. It was maybe somebody else's dream and desire that we fulfilled. There's nothing wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
But then the question is, once we've been able to pattern interrupt, we've been able to catch ourselves, we say, no, this is my old self. The question is, what do I want instead?
Exactly.
And then I often notice that we always kind of dream too small. Isn't it true?
Yeah,
so I think it's more the idea that in the quantum voyages, we also help people expand what they even think is possible.
Right.
Because when we expand that dream, we're heightening our chances of achieving something pretty amazing, and we're really stretching the mind to show you that even what you think is possible and impossible and big and too huge and too good for you, right? Even that is too small. And seriously, we've seen it happen again and again. And you know when it happens? It happens when that heart's desire is actually connected to some greater good. When it not only serves you as the person that you are, but if something gets a wind underneath its wings so that it's carried by a greater good. And I've noticed that is usually the moment when things blast open and that impossible dream becomes reality.
Right, and it's good to be scared. I mean, if you only choose for dreams that are comfortable, there's not much learning involved. When we challenge ourselves, that's when we open our potential. So when we really want to go for something that our heart is dancing with, the idea that we can have a bigger impact, the idea that we can have a better life, the idea that we can reach more people, the idea that we can become a much better person, the stuff that scares us the most, that's where our maximum growth is. And then sometimes we don't know. We just have the dream, but we do not know the how. And that's where a lot of people get stressed because they want to have the plan. Give me a step-by-step plan. That's not how the universe works, because when we make plans, like John Lennon used to say, God starts to laugh at you because it never works according
it never
to
works
your
that way, right?
No, never,
And
never.
yet we can give you a step-to-step plan of how to relax your brain and get
Mm.
into that connection with the quantum field. And then it's really up to you and the universe of what unfolds out of that. But we definitely can give you the keys to that place. I know that for sure. So
Absolutely.
can you maybe share that one amazing story you shared many, but that one that really stuck with me from the quantum hypnosis was about that one lady who came with one desire, but then got something else that was actually much cooler. Could you tell us about that?
Right. There are many,
Or unexpected.
Yeah, many different stories. So there was this one quite young person, and she was saying, I'm so blocked, I cannot relax. I'm not being hypnotized,
I can't go in hypnosis.
I cannot go in hypnosis and stuff. And then, then what's so funny is that she came in order to open up and then to read, because she has no money, she has nothing, no future, no idea what she's going to be doing. But she also had a very serious, I would say, food sensitivity. What she could eat was very limited. She didn't even think of coming for that. It was not in her scope from what she wanted. And while she's fighting, telling us that she's not achieving anything, so on, but there was no other food for her to eat. And so on day 1, she got her belly swollen up, like 5 months. Day 2, it was half. And day 3, it was totally gone.
No way.
And still day 3, she was still saying, I cannot be hypnotized. I said, wait, what's things happening? So that's the beauty, is that when you open up your mind and you start throwing, what I say, the garbage out of programming, because what I believe, it is one way to get attention. I mean, that's the one. It's a one way. It's not the way. It's one way to get. So when she doesn't need the attention anymore, she doesn't need to have the excuse anymore.
Well, so something healed, right?
Yeah,
what we can definitely say
is
that when
healed.
we stay in those states of connection, parts of ourselves start healing. And we're not the only one saying this. So that's, I think, also the magic of what happens with Joe Dispenza, right? People are in prolonged states of theta, connecting to the quantum field, connecting to their heart's desires. Of course magic happens. Absolutely.
Miracles happen.
And we're really looking forward to experience that magic with you. So another thing, a practical advice I'd like to give you for every day, when you've noticed what you notice, you've broken the pattern, and then you've refocused on what you want, remember to anchor those moments of pleasure in your life. So good, happy moments, just take them in and also take the time to enjoy them. Sometimes I feel we rush through the most happy, joyful moments because we're so friggin' busy. So why not take those moments? And then I want to show you a trick from NLP. You can anchor it in your body just by using this little pinch here. So pinch your ear like me. There you go. It can be any ear, right? And pinch it kind of where you would tug your own ear. That's right. Give your ear a little tug. You got it? Right? Okay. And now let's do this together. And now remember a really happy moment. Yeah, that one. That's a really good one. Okay. And now that's it. Toss it in. Bam. Anchor it in. Take a breath. And anchor these happy moments. If you do it repeatedly, right? All these happy moments, and you every time at the peak of that beautiful peak experience, you pinch a little ear here, you are anchoring your body on happiness. And this is only one little trick, but we'll be doing so many more helpful brain techniques and, good stuff in the Quantum Voyage too. So get excited about that.
Most people don't know that anchoring is part of our life. So just think about it, how the advertisements are using certain music to anchor us, right? And also certain sounds we are anchored to, but also certain smells we're anchoring to. If I look back to my mom, she had anchored us with her finger.
Ooh,
she
that was already enough, right?
Yeah, that would be an anchor. So anchor is a natural thing we do. When we are angry or when we get noticed, we also anchor other people. But also when we are in love and we want to anchor the other person, good feelings.
Like you're pointing to me when you do that.
So that's normal. But most people don't know how to use it in a way that they can manage to remain in a happy state and to remember all the happy states, put them together. So when you pull that ear, you go back into a bright, shining state. I love it.
Bright shining states. Yeah, and that is my favorite part about being live in the workshop space, is that I could literally see those shining faces. And it's really noticeable how these shining faces, getting all emotional, do you hear that? How these shining emotional faces get more as the days proceed, right? Because you can really see how people are letting go of old stories and, you know, painful memories and grief and all that heaviness that sometimes really weighs us down from even thinking that we are possible and grander beyond our wildest dreams.
I can say really, and I think I'm just speaking for both of us, is to seeing that is the greatest joy for us. When I'm coming home from the Netherlands and I had so much transformation.
You were beaming.
Oh my God, I feel like, wow, you know, and when we do for example, in Italy together, we both are beaming and celebrating.
But we have so much fun.
Yeah. And to see people really, claim more of themselves, claiming more of who they really are. And we really now into something where we feel that we can help a lot of people to make big transformations in their life and in our own lives as well. That's the beauty of it.
So I have a little joy work for you as usual, right? Give you some joy work. And you can do this if you're coming to the workshop or not. It'll help you in any case. And if you're coming to the workshop or joining us on live stream, then this is a great way of preparing, because you're actually going to be able to start out at a higher level. You're going to already have done a lot of the stuff before you come and then soar higher. At least that's how it always works. So your choice. If you would like to join in this, then you might want to revisit the Quantum Challenge we've had going on in the Joy Tribe, because there we've given away a bunch of free resources, and we also have a winner I'm going to be announcing really soon. And the other thing you want to do is you want to start taking a little checklist and noting down the moments that really get you emotionally negatively charged. So what are the situations that can really push your buttons? Who are the people, and I'm not referring to you, who are the people or the moments that can really get a surge of what I'd call a negative emotion inside of you? Those are real good hints for patterns that you have unconsciously created. And they are easy to switch once you know how. So please start writing them down and then notice day by day. And maybe, you know, every evening before you go to bed, you have this little checklist by the side of your bed. You say, okay, what happened today? How was today? What were the moments that threw me out of my power, or I threw myself out of the power? And start making this list, and you will learn so much from just doing that, because you'll see the repetitions.
Becoming more self-aware, very important.
Right, tick. And then you can also, just after you've noted down the triggers of today, and maybe there were none, you imagine that, then you could take just 1 or 2 minutes of focusing on what you really want. And I'd like to teach you all, including you, a simplified version of how to set that intention, because I've just rounded up a beautiful weekend with a group of Chinese goddesses explaining the Joyful Kids program to them, right? And in the Joyful Kids program, I have an abbreviated, powerful version of intention setting that I would be willing to share if you're interested.
Are they?
I don't know. Are they interested? I think so. We'll just presume that. Okay, so imagine you've taken your list and you've written down the notes of the things that you were you'd like to change in that day, and you don't know how, right? Because you consciously don't know how. Then how about sitting up straight? Let's do that together. And then maybe you're in your bedroom or somewhere where you're sitting up and you're able to ground your feet down onto the floor beneath you. Notice that, right? Okay. And now make sure that your knees and your hips and your shoulders are all like 90, 90, 90, you know, like see yourself like a chair? Got it? Got it? Okay, now take a deep breath in and close your eyes. Go on, do it. Now roll your eyes up as if you're looking through the crown of your head. Keep them up there and then say, even if I don't know how to create this change, all I do know is that it is so now. I delete everything that could stop me, and I download everything I need. Thank you. So it is, so it shall be, or something even better. And now if you're in a safe place, you could just keep your eyes shut, or you could allow your gaze to become all soft. That's right. And now imagine floating into a magical garden. That's right. And in that magical garden, you can invite all your friends, your helpers over, and you can have a conversation. You can ask for advice. You can say, hey, look, I've got this thing going on. What is the wisest way of dealing with this? Good job. And now notice the sounds and the smells around you in your magical garden. And then take another deep breath in. Bring everything you need back into the here and now. Bring it into your body. That's right. And take another deep breath in and open your eyes. Welcome back and say, yes, I can do this. Yes, I can do this. So now, shall we anchor it into our bodies? You ready then? Okay, and then get ready for some questions for us, okay? So I want to do this short practice with you. We're going to do the 5.
Do the 5.
We're going to do the 5. And then you are welcome to pose your questions to us. Okay, are you ready? This one we all know well, okay? You start switching and you say, I love and accept myself.
I love and accept myself.
I am good.
I'm good.
Well done. Deep breath. Now go underneath your eyes. All is worthy. Now, all is well.
All is well.
I am worthy.
I am worthy.
All is well.
All is well.
I am worthy.
I am worthy.
Breathe. Good job. Now go underneath your collarbones. Good, 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 good. I am powerful.
I am powerful.
Really? I am safe.
I am safe.
I am powerful.
I am powerful.
I am safe.
Safe.
Good job. Your next thing is don't smile. I am free.
I am free.
I am free.
I am free.
I am free. Good job. Now scratch your belly as if you're a dog. That's right. And say, I have purpose.
I have purpose.
I am love.
I am love.
I have purpose.
I have purpose.
I am love.
I am love.
One more time.
I have purpose.
I have purpose.
I am love.
I am love. Good job. Give me 5. You have successfully done the 5. Check in how you feel.
Blissful.
You feel blissful? Good. Okay, check in how you feel and get ready to ask us any question. Is there something we can help you with? Do you have anything you'd like to clarify? Anything you'd like to know about the Quantum Voyage? Go ahead and tap it into the comments. We're ready for you.
Yeah, and this is from your Joyful Kids program.
That's right. Can I show them? Yeah. Okay. Do you want to see what we just did? We just did the 5. This is one of the flowcharts that I created for the Joyful Kids program as a version of the highly recommended 5 elements, and so boiled down to its bones that it's really simple and fun to learn. And we've even got a song for this, but we're not going to do that today. Right? Thank you for asking. Okay, so let's see. Do we have any questions here? Hey, some of you are saying, I don't understand a word you're saying, not my language, but I love you. Thank you. So Quantum Voyage Event 2 is a follow-up from the one in December.
No, that's December's hypnosis. This is Quantum Voyage, a big difference.
Okay, so in December there's a workshop in Holland.
No, it was a workshop.
Oh, well, just the one now.
Yeah,
okay, so no. This is what. Tell us more about the Quantum Voyage. What are we going to learn?
Okay, the difference with the one we did, which was quantum connection hypnosis, that was learning hypnosis, so another way to get into Theta. And the Quantum Voyage is where we're jumping to the timeline where our ideal life is, where we are the greatest, best version of ourselves. It's just a different approach. In hypnosis, you learn to hypnotize another person. In the Quantum Voyages, you're not learning to hypnotize another person. You're learning to go in Theta and then to make all that you want, changing all the changes.
You're basically learning how to hypnotize yourself.
It's like a self-hypnosis more.
That's right. What else are we learning?
Well, yeah, we're learning. One of the most important things that we're learning is to become more self-aware, because our brains are wired in such a way that it's like unconscious reaction. So step one is to become aware, and then we can break the patterns, and we need to dehypnotize ourselves. We really need to become aware how we are being hypnotized by, let's say, commerce, by advertisement, by what's happening in life.
And
but
music
also by music. I mean, the songs that they make, what are you allowing to come into your subconscious mind? What kind of suggestions, even when you're talking to a friend, what kind of suggestions you're giving that person. Like, oh, you look very tired. Are you okay? Immediately you start.
That person will feel a little threatened, maybe, or not so happy.
And of course, we are going to look at our sabotage protocols and how we can connect to our wisest self. What else do we have? And yes, we're going to learn how to connect to our power, how to download our power, to be connected with our power, to stay with our power. Those are some things we're going to be doing in the quantum voyage.
That's right. And we're also going to learn how to connect with our very own quantum angel.
Mm-hmm.
Just imagine that there is an angel out there that's kind of that perfect blend. Maybe it's a little bit of Raphael, a little bit of Michael, a bit of Uriel. You know what I mean? You can actually connect to the quantum field with that desire to really get in connection with your very own quantum angel, that helper from the angelic realm, to really be at your side, supporting you in those challenges that we all have to go through, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're different challenges, and it's all about learning in the most joyful way. So I totally agree with Sandra saying that, it's interesting, isn't it, that at 4, 5, 6, 7, that's kind of the age we send children to school when they're going into the next brainwave state. And yes, how much of that hypnosis is really useful. And that's why I also believe, like you, that we need to teach children how to meditate. Meditation shouldn't be something unusual. Meditation should be standard in all schools, so that we can really learn for ourselves to be aware, to make the changes we need by being in that state of connection that doesn't come from busyness, right?
Mm-hmm.
But more from that Taurus field and that tranquility and that divinity. Thank you. Thank you for asking that question. Is there anything else you would like to ask us? I'm just scanning through here that I'm not missing anything. Mm-hmm. Is it interesting? Dinol is asking, is it interesting for me to do the quantum voice if I've just done the quantum connection hypnosis workshop?
It's a different approach in that sense. The approach is different in the sense where in the workshop we're doing mainly one-on-one learnhouse hypnosis. Here you totally are in a relaxed state. The meditation will be totally different. So actually it's going to be a reinforcement of what you already have done. So it's going to make it even more stronger. And what we really want with quantum is that the reinforcement, to keep in that energy, to become stronger and stronger over time. And so you cannot overdo it. But the more angles you do things, that could then be totally different. Like how you went to Joe Dispenza. He does it in a complete different way, using all kinds of binaural beats and sounds and things like that, and his voice changing that in different ways. So it's another way to connect to that vibration.
I think you get more of the experience if you're able to just be a participant rather than having to learn and memorize something because you're learning to be a trainer. So learning to become a hypnotist and taking part in the quantum voyage is totally different. Mm-hmm. And I think the beauty also of the location in Italy and the experience is that you're going to be with hundreds of other people from all over the world, and they're all united in that same goal. And something magical happens in a community that is wired like that. And if we are together for 4 days, then that energy just builds up, and we dance and we have so much fun. Then you get all that Italian food. I mean, excuse me, is this a question? And March should already be beautiful because it's getting into spring. There's Lake Garda right there. Oh, yeah, if you can come. But obviously there won't be space for everyone. But you can always join as a live stream ticket owner. And the thing about the live stream tickets, I'd just like to put your attention to that, is that you have those recordings for life then. Mm. So you basically have 4 days of meditation to go back to imply, at the other moment in your life, to sleep to at night. So you could create your very own basically free sleep program by just getting a live stream ticket. So think about it. And you can always share it with friends.
Yeah, you can join with friends, make the party at your home, and you don't have to travel.
Personal retreat.
You can still eat pizza and pasta. That's okay.
True, you can get some catering in. I like how you think.
You can be in the energy.
Okay. Anything else? Let's see. Yeah. Who's this? Tiny is saying it was a very nice experience in Holland. Well done.
You.
Yeah.
Her name was Jeannie.
Is it in English in Italy? Yes, Dinol. The training in Italy will be in English and simultaneously translated into Italian. Mm-hmm. And if you speak basic school English, you just understand kind of what we're saying here, you get the gist. Mm-hmm. That's more than good enough. Because here's the thing, that all that hypnosis, all those meditations actually will act like a brain training and a language learning tool for you. So many of our students, like the Chinese ladies that were here this weekend for my kids program, they are actually listening to the Italian program because they want to learn Italian. They really speak English. So think about it. It's a really great way to learn the language because you're relaxed, you're just soaking it all in.
Actually, that's what happened with in her thing. She says Tini, but now they changed it into Jeannie. Is that she?
Yes, so she says I changed my name into Jeannie.
Yeah. And she said that she felt bad about her English, but when she started to speak, the English was good and great, and we just need to encourage a little bit, and then it was like totally relaxed.
I had that recently on a webinar for Italy that I kind of went in trance guiding the meditation, and because it was with consecutive translation, I felt I understood every Italian word. I'm telling you, this is the way to learn. I'm telling you.
The unconscious is so as much aware of things.
So
we feel insecure, but we have already heard a lot of vocabulary and just putting together.
And why do we feel insecure? Usually because we have some stories about that we were, I don't know, humiliated at one time. We felt shy or embarrassed, and we said, "No, I'm not going to do that again."
You feel shamed,
right? But that's just that old programming. So let us help you free yourself from that programming so that you can step into connection, whatever that means for you. Hi, Isabel. Okay. Any other questions? I think we handled everything. We want you to come to Italy. That is the basic message of this video.
Or watch online.
Or come on live stream.
The one thing about Italy, the energy is totally different.
From what?
In Italy compared to where we teach.
To Holland, you mean?
Yeah, not only to Holland, but all other countries. The Italians have their way. They make you feel at home. They're so...
Bella Italia.
I always say Prosecco-like, so bubbly.
Oh, that's why you like them. That's the connection to Prosecco. Well, I love all nations on this planet. I invite you all to come. And yeah, thank you so much for hanging out with us just now for this very short and snappy overview of what we will be doing in the Quantum Voyage 2. Thank you for asking your questions. Thank you for being a member of our Joy Tribe. Absolutely. Thank you for all the goodwill you're showing. And you know what I've gone and done now? I have forgotten the piece of paper that had the winner on it.
Oh.
I know it's a woman.
That's it.
And I'm going to post it in the... I'm gonna make an extra post. I'm gonna put it in the comments here, and we will get in touch with you anyway. Right? My team knows who you are, and I knew it just an hour ago, but I didn't bring the piece of paper with me. Please forgive me. We will post your name openly so everybody sees you have won a ticket, a live stream ticket to the Quantum Voyage 2. We're so excited for you. You won it because you completed the Quantum Challenge and you did every single day. That is commitment, that is dedication. Absolutely. And you rock. Absolutely. And we honor you for that, and also all the others that completed every single day of the challenge. We will award you all with that honoring, and thank you for taking part, and thank you for being with us.
Absolutely. And please share this Facebook Live with your friends, so that more people can have the opportunity to participate when they're ready.
That's right, and know how to anchor their pleasure, right? Mille baci, 1000 küsse. We love you. Bye-bye.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Nice, I like it.